This is how Uber is addressing safety concerns for drivers.
Oh yeah, this was bullshit, Harry. Anyway,
The feeling for drivers is like, we go through all this, passengers don't have to do anything. I don't know, maybe a background check on every single rider who gets in your car is asking too much, but is it too much to ask some of them to verify an ID, you know, to use a real name when they get into your car, or the rides must be under the account holder? Because that, it's sort of like the wild, wild west right now when it comes to, you know, those things for passengers.
And I think all of those factors are factors that we're looking at. And I'll give you one example, which is if you're not using a credit card that's verified, or you're using, for example, a gift card, right? We will now actually force you to show ID, because we want to make sure we know what that person is. So we are absolutely kind of looking at situations that have an increased probability of something happening, of being less safe for the driver.
Bullshit meter is on. Okay, so here's the deal. Harry asked another question that I had forwarded him. He goes, like, safety, you know, look, we're in the most selfie happy society on the planet. People take selfies in the bathrooms or whatever. Why can't they just verify who the heck these people are? We do it twice a day. Now I do it at least twice a day, verify myself as a driver, even for deliveries, for God's sakes, right? They have accelerated it for drivers for some reason, in California anyway. Second thing is, how difficult is it to upload a verifiable ID? You know, we did those 2 town halls, Chris, right? There were some Kool-Aiders and there were some haters. What was the consensus out of those 12 people? One thing we all agreed on. What was the consensus?
Better safety measures.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And so what does this guy do? This guy goes, you know, he did this, you know, in the interview. He said, because Harry opened it up as saying maybe all passengers should go through background checks. And the guy, flat out, this is what he said. He says, if we do background checks on all passengers, we will have no business. This is his quote, not mine. You guys go ahead and watch the full interview. That's what he said, which I agree with. I think that's a little too much. But by the time you take and print or type in your fake nickname for the app, killer, sperm, whatever the heck you're going to put in there, sugar daddy, whatever, right? It's easier to upload your ID. If your God-given name or government-given name is killer, I'm not going to worry about picking you up at 3 a.m, because I know it's off of a damn ID. So he goes and says, oh, no, we're verifying. If you have a gift card, you have to put your ID in. That's not what the guy asked, bro. The guy asked, why can't just upload an ID? And then the question could be, not everybody has an ID. Well, if you don't have an ID, you can't get on a plane. How about that? So if you don't have an ID, you're not going to get in my car. There you go. Upload the ID. I'll pick you up at 3 a.m, even if your screen name is killer. No problem, because I know I'm kind of safe. I think they have the AI for it. All these things drivers do outside the background check. Okay, that's too much. Let's not kill the golden goose here. Okay.
Yeah, I get it. Like, the problem is, though, even with background checks, there's still problems that occur. Like, let's be real. We looked at that safety report. 50% of people, or right around that number, are drivers who have been background checked and still create a problem. So let's be real. Background checks don't do diddly shit. When it comes down to it, being able to know who you're picking up, that's one thing, but that's only in the event something actually happens. And then that's after the fact, being able to try to find that person and, have them arrested or whatever the issue might be. But in the actual moment, when something is happening, that is the point where, as a driver, you gotta have the tools at your disposal in order to be able to handle situations that could be unfolding in the moment, in the second, like literally life and death situation in a second. It's not going to have any impact on, if there's an ID or not. So that's going to be one of the problems there too. There's things that you can do to try to help beforehand. And yes, if there's any issues or any problems or anything, you're able to, figure out who that is. If there's problems with them damaging your vehicle, assaulting you, whatever it might be. They're able to take care of it at that point by figuring out who it is. But again, in the moment, you know, this is, I think, the biggest thing that people like overlook or don't think about. It's like, oh, we can have all of these onboarding processes. We have them as drivers. 50% of the issues still are from people who are background checked. Yep. Background checks ain't going to work. And plus the time, the money, you know, you have some of the craziest people walking into Walmart. There's a whole site dedicated to the people at Walmart. I don't know if it's still up or not, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of crazy crap that's going on there. And you're not IDing people walking into a store. It's going to be kind of the same thing here. You're not going to ID people, but the thing is, you can have it on hand. But again, I think the one thing that we need to really pay attention to and address is what happens, you know, leading up to the actual situation that's happening. How can you remove yourself from that, de-escalate that? How can you get away from that particular situation? Like, you're going to have people in, if you're taking drunk people, there's a greater risk at something happening, not because they're bad people, but because they're an asshole because they're drunk.
Look, I agree with all that, except that I don't think it's much to ask from the driver community, right? Because I think that if there is ever any consensus on any issue in the driver community, negative people, Kool-Aid drinkers, whatever they are, they agree on safety, that onboarding of passengers needs a little bit more scrutiny. That's it. I mean, I think everybody would agree on that, you know, let's just have them upload an ID. That's it. We're not asking for much. What's the big deal?
All right, thanks for watching. That short little clip was from our live stream, Show Me the Money Club with Sergio and myself, Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Make sure you subscribe, turn on all notifications so you'll be notified when we go live, as well as all of our awesome content. Make sure to check out this video right here, which will take you to the entire live stream, or check out this video right there. All right, drive smart, everyone.